So many times when I'm going through courses, webinars, talks, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm exchanging my information with other people. I'm often referenced to as the human strategist. But I'm just telling you that you should be your own strategist. So, any one of you that is a coach, a consultant, a practitioner, whatever this is, whatever business you have, if you are a solopreneur or a smaller company under a few $1 million or just a few employees, whatever this looks like for you. I'm not referencing large corporations because oftentimes they have frameworks. And when I'm inside those companies, it's a little different than what I'm going to talk about today. So when we're looking at frameworks, what I'm telling you is you got here to this place of entrepreneurship for a reason. And it usually was not because you were a fan of paperwork, documentation, and just being highly organized. I haven't met one yet. But that I think is why I get that nickname, right? Because I have these frameworks. The psychology of a cell. And how that to design scripts for you or your team. It's the psychology of every video. It's your social media platform, your talk, your banking, whatever it is, right? There's always a system and a framework. And it's always this journey to take everyone along. And I have like very specific frameworks that I have created in my Ready to Launch program and in some of my other coaching programs for specifically entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, the creatives. And it's because it's not always really easy nor time consuming or it is time consuming and you don't really want to spend the time on it, but the reality is it's critical because throughout the year, heck, some of you throughout the month, you're shifting priorities so much that you kind of can lose perspective of the overall picture. And there's some pieces that you always need to do. Like you need to constantly evaluate delegation. That might be contracting out, that might be partnering, that might be finding the software that can do it, right? You have to delegate all of these different things because even though you are the creative, you are the owner, you are the speaker, you are the author, it doesn't mean that you don't need to do your books. It doesn't mean that you don't need to keep track of your files. It doesn't mean that you can create a ton of videos and then there's nothing going on elsewhere. You actually need to be very organized. So, what you want to do when you're making a framework, and I'm hoping I gave you enough context to understand the variety of frameworks to have here, but here's some basic ones. One, frame out your year, right? You have your overall vision for your business. That's not what I'm talking about. Hope to God you've documented that somewhere with your vision and mission and all those things. Maybe you haven't. But the next thing you want to do is look at the year. We always design the next year out and it changes throughout the year. This is not a concrete plan, but we put thought into it. It gives us an opportunity to look at our resources, look at our spend for the year, gives us kind of like projections of like what are our capabilities this year, what are our targets, all of this information we've collected, and then also doing some additional research. And we design out the whole year for all three of the businesses. And when we do that, they're in phased plans every month. And it is look at the capacity, look at the technology that we have or that we need to go get, look at how we're going to market it, all of these different things, and the customer journey for each of them. So each of these pieces has its own framework. What is the technology, right? What's your decision matrix on that? A risk cube's a favorite in that situation. But then you can also look at, your customer journey. We usually use a flow chart for that and just keeping it simple so that we can continually go, is this doing what we wanted it to do, right? What we are asking the system to do. And then also like the feedback loops from the customers. What's happening there? Feedback loop is the testimonials, the support emails, all of those different things. What is the framework around that? Who's responding to them? What are some of the responses you have had so that you can anticipate how to respond to future ones? Can you put some of this into AI so that it can auto respond for like, I can't log in, right? Like What are the things you can do? And what's the framework? Like, really think these things through. It's the same as when you do a talk, right? You go to a talk, you don't just go to a talk to talk. What is the CTA? Right? How are you getting the talks? How do you turn that talk into multiple talks? And are you getting referrals from there? Are you getting clients? Are you getting students? Are you getting book purchases? Like, what is the whole experience of this talk? And what is it you want them to walk away with, right? All these things you think through in a talk of like designing it with humor, adding in questions, making it interactive, not just talking to them to death, right? Your body language, your tone, all those things, that's a framework you're creating and thinking through. But once you start documenting these things, that's how you scale, right? So when you sit there and you're like, oh, just throwing money at it, because I see this happen all the time, people just start throwing money at things. And it's like, whoa, stop. Is that the right thing to do? Right? I get approached all the time. Someone just this week approached me with a $30,000 market spend. And I was like, you think I'm Pepsi? Like, what's going on here? Which they spend more than that. But, I was just like, why are you asking to do this for $30,000? And so I was able to sit back and look at my frameworks and go, this is not worth it to me. I was going to go get advice and talk it through with some people. And then I was like, I don't need to. Like, this doesn't align with our projections of how the business is going to grow. Because I have a habit in the past of growing businesses so fast they exploded. And I don't want that to happen to you, right? You had a great thing and then you imploded on yourself because you didn't have frameworks in place and you didn't follow a plan that would pull things back when they started getting out of control. $30,000 is probably the right thing to spend on when you're ready to have that type of growth. We were not. So hopefully you understand the intent of frameworks and the importance of why you need to have them, and start just jotting down. Just make it simple. Jot down some things that you can framework right now. Is it the customer journey, right? That one's fun to do. Is it the structure of a book or a talk? Is it your marketing strategy for the next 12 months? I mean, we are coming into the end of the year. Might as well just jump on the bandwagon now if you haven't done it and look at 2026. But think about just these different types of frameworks, because what it did for us is it really highlighted the internal training we needed to develop, and that we had a lot of frameworks in place and they just weren't documented and they weren't replicable. And so it made it so that we scaled up in staff, and then it was like a very long onboarding process. So job number one for everyone was document your job. Anyways, I hope that helps you on your entrepreneur journey, and that you can get some good ideas that you can do on your own, and just being able to start creating these frameworks. If you're in the Ready to Launch program, obviously we give you the frameworks and templates and we go through and populate them so you do have that documented. Because at the end of that 8 weeks, the idea is you're not touching anything again for 12 months because your marketing's done, your business is on plan, all of these things, right? But that's not the case for a lot of people. So I just want you to take some time and look at the frameworks and see how that feels for you.